Dragon Ball fans from all around the world, in order to gather a better understanding as to what this video will be about, please stick on by and watch the entire video from start to finish and create your own conclusion by the end of this video if whether or not Zamasu is black. So without any hesitation, let us begin. Now for starters, having to gather information from the recent episode of Dragon Ball Super episode 53, we see that something is wrong with Zamasu in terms of when he's talking to the yellow Kaioshin Gawasu, in which, may I add, that Zamasu is the pupil of Gawasu. We see, as you guys can see on your screen right here, that Zamasu has a very interesting conversation with the yellow Kaioshin in terms of what is being said. What kind of guy is this Zamasu? Goku asks Beerus and Whis. Whis responds by saying, yes, he used to be a Kaio of Universe 10. Due to his prodigious fighting skills, he is now undergoing training to become a Kaioshin. Now we pan over back to Zawasu and Gawasu, and we see that Zamasu makes tea for his yellow Kaioshin friend, and of course it says, tea brewed by the pure-hearted is free of imperfections and is truly delicious. The fact that you can brew this kind of tea proves that your heart is calm. You must continue humbly training your body and mind and silently watch over the deeds of the humans. There is something I've always wanted to ask you, of course. That's when Zamasu begins to question the yellow Kaioshin and pertains to the humans. He goes, are these humans truly worth protecting? Now if you guys go back and watch that very specific scene, pay attention to the actual tea, because at first the tea looks to be very clear in nature, and then as Zamasu begins to question the fate of humanity, we see the tea begin to change. There's something within the tea. We see how there's a disturbance within the tea itself. There's like a dark sort of swirl going on, which kind of indicates that there is some sort of imperfection within Zamasu's heart. Now, pay attention to the following image. He goes, I've seen countless deeds committed by the humans. They prosper, they war, they fall. This cycle repeats, and to me, these seem like utterly foolish acts. So right then and there, Zamasu begins to question the act of humanity. That's when the yellow Kaioshin replies by saying, that is what humans are. Do these beings who keep repeating their foolish mistakes, would it not be better that we put an end to their foolish deeds ourselves? The Kaioshin and Kaio's duties are to create, not to directly interfere with the creation. But if you are telling me to silently look past the humans' mistakes, not to look past them, you are to watch over and raise them. That is our purpose. Obviously enough, the yellow Kaioshin is telling Zamasu that the role the Kaios and Kaioshins play in is to overlook the humans' actions, and of course that's when the yellow Kaioshin responds by saying there is only one being who is allowed to lay a hand on the creation, the god of destruction. Listen, Zamasu, know your place. So obviously enough, the yellow Kaioshin is telling Zamasu to know his place as a Kaioshin, a soon-to-be Kaioshin. And where have we seen this act of defiance before? We've seen it with Black. So now we pan on over to when Beerus and Whis arrive, and that's when Gawasu tells Beerus and Whis that this is my pupil Zamasu. And when Zamasu first sees Goku, he goes on ahead to say, a human? Are you the prodigy strong Kaio-sama? What is a human doing here? It seems this is the first time he's seen Goku's son. So this is the first time that Zamasu has ever seen a human in a way, and that being Goku. And keep in mind, being that this is the first ever human that Zamasu has ever seen who's been exceptionally as strong as him, if not exceeding his own powers, this raises a lot of awareness. And of course, that's when Beerus and Whis tell Goku to greet him properly, and after he introduces himself as a Saiyan, that's when Zamasu begins to say, a Saiyan? Why is he acting alongside the gods of destruction? Soon after, the yellow Kaioshin asks, what brings you here today? And that's when Whis replies by saying, you see, a certain individual who has showed up on Earth in Universe 7 was wearing a time ring. What's more, this individual was no Kaioshin. Zamasu, lead Beerus-sama and his companions to the temple in order to show off the rings, and that's when they pretty much showcase the box of rings. All the rings seem to be intact, but then before Zamasu fights Goku, we see Gawasu pretty much say to himself, how well can he contain his emotions while fighting a human? And even after Goku transformed, Zamasu says his ki flared up 10 times over. I haven't fought a god since Beerus-sama, Goku replied. That creates a shock factor for the yellow Kaioshin as he asks, this man has battled you before, Beerus-sama? Unbelievable. Then how is he still alive right now? And then even after Goku had fought Zamasu, Zamasu says, this is the end. Where have we seen this before? This is the end. We've seen that when Black actually battled Trunks, he used the exact same line before Trunks threw his sword to deflect Black's attack. Black said, this is the end. But then we go on ahead and pan over to Goku versus Zamasu, and Goku says, this feeling. And that's when Whis goes, Whis, did you feel that? Is this Black's ki? No, similar, but this is the power of a human. This is the first time that Zamasu has ever felt the powers of a quote-unquote human, and that's when Gawasu's like, who is he? He's not even a god, yet his power rivals the god of destruction. And of course, Beerus having to say, did you just say his power rivals mine? With Gawasu saying, excuse me. And even Zamasu says, how can this human be so strong? And that's when Goku replies by saying, you're strong for a Kaio-sama. The Kaio-sama in my universe wouldn't stand a chance. For anybody out there wondering if any of the Kais within Universe 7 can go toe-to-toe against Zamasu, that comment right there disproves that. So then again, we get to see another comment being made by Beerus and Whis. In that case, Whis saying that cold heart he was suppressing and that ki he he unleashed, that was more than enough to give credibility to our suspicion that Zamasu is black. So maybe Whis already knows something that we aren't picking up here, but again, since it's not really Whis' fight, he's not going to have an involvement as to what's going to happen, and in which case we see when Beerus says, maybe I should have destroyed him while we had the chance, and that's when Goku replies by saying, he didn't seem like a bad guy to me, with Beerus responding by saying, you're just too trusting, and the key I felt was similar, but it wasn't exactly the same as Goku replied. And then he says, still, this trembling in my hand makes me think back to when I fought Beerus-sama, and that's when Beerus said, what, don't compare him to me, I am on a completely different level. And that's when Goku replied by saying, he might become a god as strong as you, I've got to understand the humans better. We see Zamasu, he's back on his little planet, and he's saying to himself that he has to understand the humans better, and that's when Gowasu asks him, did you manage to clear away the distrust in humans that has grown in your heart? But he never replies. Zamasu never initially told him a direct answer, he never said yes, he never said no, but towards the very end of the episode, he says to himself, humans are truly dangerous beings, Son Goku, I will not forget you. So what does this essentially mean? Look at the evidence here. Zamasu obviously is questioning Gowasu as to the overall protection of humans. He feels as if the humans are fear-mongering war savages, and he feels as if they don't have an obligation to protect them, while the Yellow Kaioshin is telling Zamasu that that in fact is his role, and the only way to lay a hand on creation is by the hands of the gods of destruction. So obviously Zamasu has a very tender feeling with that. He doesn't really truly believe that humans deserve protection, that they deserve to be overlooked. And of course you may be asking yourself, well, why is that important? Well, if you guys remember back when Black was talking to Trunks, Black specifically told Trunks that he was from a place far beyond this planet, he was from a much higher place, and that he's going to do what the gods did not have the courage to do, and that's annihilate and destroy the humans on behalf of the gods. What does that mean? What does Zamasu want to do? Obviously enough, he doesn't truly purely hate the humans, he just finds a huge disliking of them, and he does not want to follow in the footsteps of keeping them protected, while Black on the other hand quotes that he is from a much higher place, and he wants to do what the gods are too afraid to do. He wants to create paradise within the universe by eradicating the humans. If you put two and two together, Zamasu is from a higher place, Zamasu does not want to protect the humans. In fact, deep down, as we said, he is suppressing his cold heart, he is suppressing his energy. There is something about Zamasu that we aren't really picking up. If you put Zamasu and Black together, looking at their key features, Zamasu has long sleeves, Black has long sleeves. Zamasu has white boots, Black has white boots. Zamasu questions the deeds of the humans, Black questions the deeds of humanity. Black tells future Trunks that he is from a much higher place, Zamasu is from an entirely different universe. Now, people might ask and say, well, how can they even be at the exact same place at the exact same time when they're actually, you know, in two different parts of the universe, in two different realities? One person is far away in the future, while the other one is all the way out in universe 10 in a different universe. So how is this even in correlation to one another? Akira Toriyama actually said that there's going to be a huge mess involving time, involving reality. So of course, right now we don't really have definitive information as to what is what, but also if you think about it, when Black Goku first went through the time distortion and he encountered everyone back on Earth, and he saw Goku, he saw Vegeta, he even saw Beerus, he recognized Beerus. For the first time ever, he was introduced to Beerus by Gowasu in Dragon Ball Super episode 53, as he introduced Zamasu to Beerus as his pupil. So that was the first time that Zamasu has ever seen the god of destruction known as Beerus, because that was the first time the Yellow Kaioshin has ever introduced Zamasu to Beerus. So by face recognition, obviously enough, the reason why he was able to recognize him back when he first went through the time distortion was because he's seen him before. I mean, how else would Black recognize Beerus? By face, mind you, if he's never seen him before. And of course, with Zamasu having to see Beerus for the first time ever alongside Goku, that was the first encounter he's ever had back in Dragon Ball Super episode 53. Now, if you go back and look at Dragon Ball Super episode 50, he recognized Beerus by face. He recognized Goku by face. Now, in terms of Vegeta, maybe in fact he's also seen Vegeta before. Maybe in the coming episodes, he will encounter Vegeta and recognize him by face, even remembering the fact that he is the Prince of Saiyans from a once existing planet called Planet Vegeta. Now, this story is very, very similar to Star Wars episodes 1, 2, and 3 with Anakin. If you guys remember with Anakin, Emperor Palpatine was actually trying to convey and convert Anakin on over to the dark side, and with the influences of evil in his heart, he became known as Darth Vader over the course of performing evil deeds. So maybe in some way, shape, or form, this is connected to Zamasu, because as he was brewing the tea and he gave it to the Yellow Kaioshin replied by saying the tea was very delicious, only brewed by those who have a pure heart. But the second he started talking about humanity, we see how the tea began to change. So the tea was reflected by the imperfections within Zamasu's heart. Even Whis pointed out that in fact Zamasu has imperfections and a cold heart. He was suppressing that the entire time. And if you keep in mind, Goku is very gullible, always gives his opponents the benefit of the doubt. We've seen that over the course of time with Majin Buu, with Cell, with Frieza coming back, with so many other characters. So Goku may be oblivious to the fact that there's something about Zamasu that only Whis and Beerus were able to pick up and not him. Now, a time paradox may have been created in Dragon Ball Super episode 53 by Goku meeting Zamasu for the very first time, and we find out that Zamasu has a strong hatred towards the human race. Goku sparring with him for a bit, he gained a little bit of knowledge of Goku. Therefore, since Goku is the strongest human he has ever seen, prior to ever even seeing the humans to begin with, he takes Goku's form, and in fact, in order to destroy the humans, he takes the form of the strongest human in order to wipe out humanity. Again, only a theory, but well, keep in mind that Black appeared in future Trunks' timeline only a few years after the androids had appeared. Now, also, if you pay attention, Gowasu is very suspicious of this as well, but not in an obvious way. There are signs of Black being different than Zamasu, but in fact, there's also tons of similarities in terms of hatred, in terms of coming from a quote-unquote higher place, and overlooking the humans' actions. Now, it was an honor to fight Goku when Black first appeared, telling Goku that it was an honor to fight him using that body, in which case confused Goku. But then again, you have to ask yourself, as we already did, why would someone take the form of Goku, being the simple fact that Zamasu saw how strong Goku truly was, taking the form of Goku, having to test those abilities, test those powers. Even after he went back into the future, he said how he specifically had embedded Goku's techniques, his memory, and his battle power within him in order to create a much more perfected body, a much more perfected skill craft in order for him to continue on and destroy the humans. Now, again, the theory here is the fact that Zamasu may have turned against the Yellow Kai because the Yellow Kai is all for humanity and Zamasu is not. The Yellow Kaioshin specifically told Zamasu, know your place in life and do not interfere with human actions, and of course, Zamasu feels differently. He feels as if he shouldn't help the humans, so therefore, I believe, since the Yellow Kaioshin is trying to prevent Zamasu from pretty much breaking out and doing whatever he wants, I do believe that at some point, Zamasu may have killed off the Yellow Kai, grabbed the rings, and have done as he wished, because again, the Yellow Kaioshin was the one that kept him in check, and of course, Zamasu wanted to do his own thing by his own will. But then again, you have to ask yourself, how can there be two? How can Black Goku exist in the future? And of course, Zamasu being in Universe 10, it just doesn't seem to add up. Well, maybe Black is the end result of all of the negative energy that was once condensed in Zamasu's heart, released onto the surface, and maybe perhaps this Zamasu, the one that we saw currently, becomes a good guy, becomes neutral, and actually tries to prevent, you know, the destruction and well-being of the universe by trying to work alongside Goku and Beerus and Whis to try to defeat Black. Now, that's only one theory, of course. Now, the other theory may be that this actually reflects back to Demon King Piccolo, and Kami, as they were two beings that were once separated, but they were ultimately one person. So maybe Zamasu and Black, similar to even how Majin Buu released all the evil from his heart, were once one being, and Zamasu and Black are the end result of good and evil being separated within the physical flesh. Create your own conclusions down in the comment section below. Do you guys believe that Zamasu and Black are actually the same person, having to be separated, one good, one evil, similar to Majin Buu? Or do you guys believe that Zamasu and Black are two totally different entities, and in fact just only come from the same stem? Do you guys believe that they are cut from the same cloth? Comment down below and let me know. What are your overall thoughts on them having to come from a higher place, their overall features, their designs, and even their energy similarities? Comment down below and let me know. Once again, guys, thank you all for watching. If you guys are fans, don't forget to subscribe for more daily Dragon Ball content. If you guys are stoked about Dragon Ball Super episode 54 and more to come, punch that like button square in the face, guys. Again, this is an opinionated video. I would like to know your comments down below. Again, I feel in my heart that Zamasu and Black are one of the same, except only this time a time paradox may have been created, therefore affecting both characters in very different ways. Comment down below and let me know, guys. Once again, thank you all for watching. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Take it easy, guys. Peace.